I'm currently like running off like no sleep because I kind of like pulled an all-nighter because my sleep schedule is so kind of fucked, so I'm kind of trying to fix it. But it's like going like 9 o'clock now, so I feel like it's kind of okay to like get ready and like maybe go to bed, but I thought I'd like take off my makeup and talk about like my struggles with mental health, because I feel like it's important to obviously talk about it and to possibly help people know that like it's okay to talk about it and you're not struggling. I'm like tying my hair back up so it's out of my face, but you're pretty much not struggling alone. Like it's okay to like I guess talk about it. So should probably like introduce myself. So I'm Nicola and I'm 21, going 22 in October, and I should probably like give like background when like I guess all of this started. So I was about I was about 14. I was like in my second year of secondary school, or whatever. So like nearly 8 years ago, which is just actually like insane to me. But at the end of second year of school, my family was broken up. I feel like it's kind of just something I don't really openly kind of talk about, and I kind of obviously feel like I don't necessarily know if I want to like remotely kind of talk about it now, mainly because like it's not just about me, it's obviously like other people in my family or whatever, and I obviously do not want to talk about their like business, I guess, online. But I was kind of glad that my family was broken up, because I feel like people will get that like, well, some people will get when parents like separate, when like one parent like obviously like moves out of the home, the house automatically becomes a happier house because the parent has left, or whatever. And that was the same sort of like situation for me or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of how it all started. And at the time I kind of didn't really let any of it affect me, because like I feel like I think I was at that age where like I was like, oh, like I actually don't care. Fast forward to a year later, I was 15, and my granda, on my dad's side, passed away because of cancer. He died exactly a week before I was meant to be sitting my junior cert, which is kind of like, I guess, like maybe the equivalent of like your GCSEs and that. And I feel like his death really kind of affected me because I had seen so much, I feel like, of my granda's health rapidly decline. Like I literally remember everything about like my granddad getting sick leading up to his death so vividly, and I just do not think I will ever get it out of my head, or whatever. Like, my last sort of images of my granddad is I went down to see him the day that he died, or whatever, and he wasn't, like, I guess, awake, so I never actually got to have a conversation with him. But like, I didn't really mind that. I was kind of just glad to like see him, because we all kind of knew that he was like dying. Like, you know, it kind of just is what it is. What it is. Like, my family kind of chose not to like go through chemo, because when they obviously found the cancer, it was kind of too late. So they kind of just wanted him to be as comfortable and chilled as possible for his last couple of months or whatever that he had. And I remember vividly when I went in to see him that day that he died. He was like lying like in his bed, and like the bed kind of reminded me of like kind of like a hospice kind of bed, because I think like it was kind of easier for like nurses to come in and give him pain relief or something. Not entirely sure the reasoning behind all of that. But it looked like he was sleeping, but he was making kind of a lot of noise because he was obviously in a lot of pain. And I don't think he could really talk, or like, I don't think he was properly awake during like the last couple of days of his like life, if that makes sense. So I was obviously able to kind of say goodbye to him, because I kind of knew that like once I left that house, that would probably be the last time that I would see him. And I was right, because about 5 hours later got the call that he died. And I never want to relive that moment of my life. And I feel like the reason why my granddad's death hit me so hard is because I didn't process everything that happened the year before in my life. So I kind of all this came like crashing down, and I kind of went on like a spiral. But I still managed to do my junior cert, and I still managed to somehow pass. Don't know how that happened, but I then was in my 4th year in school, and I feel like that's kind of where like, I guess, my mental health really kind of took a turn for the worse, I suppose. I kind of was refusing to like go to school. Like, I didn't want to go there, or whatever. This is like a trigger warning, but I was harming myself and kind of slowly trying to destroy myself, or whatever. Eventually I did go to the GP to like, I guess, try and get like a referral to like get some help. And I feel like anyone that has been referred to these people in Ireland has all had a bad experience. They deal with underage, like anyone under the age of 18, and they're called CAMHS, and they're not great. Or whatever. Like, I was put on antidepressant, and CAMHS really kind of took me for like a loop. They were not helpful. I feel like every session that I came out and sat in the car, like, obviously to go home, I cried the whole way home because of pretty much how shit they made me feel. Like, I was coming out worse than what I was going in at the start of every session. And there's where I got my kind of autism diagnosis. I think I was like 16, because they also do like them types of diagnosis as well. And because I was kind of like showing signs. So yeah, I was told I had autism, and it kind of really kind of pissed me off. Not that like I was diagnosed with autism or anything like that, but mainly because they kind of put everything down to that and pretty much just did not help me, or whatever. And yeah, I just didn't enjoy being to camps. Like if I ever have children and they go down the road that I went down, definitely am not taking them to camps, like at all. Or whatever, and would like have school meetings with like that, obviously school and like camps, and even school didn't like them because of how bad they treated me. Like it was a whole sort of like thing. Like they actually treated me as if I was 5 and just didn't care what I had to say. Or whatever. So kind of 4th, 5th, and 6th year of school, I rarely went. Didn't even want to get out of bed. Or whatever. And I was having meltdown after meltdown. Like if I go back and hug my younger self, I would, because she was angry, because I feel like I'm the type of person that like I let my emotions kind of like simmer until like we outbursts, and she had many outbursts, at home and in school. But we finished school. We passed our leaving cert, and we got points to go into college, and we thought our life was going well, because we were like, yes, like we got like the points to get into law, like all that type of stuff. And for the first year of me like being in college, I honestly never felt like the happiest I've ever been. Like I feel like I was just so happy to get out of my town and like away from everyone. But then at the end of the first year, I found out that I failed and I would have to repeat, and that kind of threw me for like a loop. Like really kind of like set me back. But we had no other choice but to repeat, because at the time I thought law was something I wanted to do. So we had to take out a loan to obviously pay for my college fees, because in my first year of college I was getting like, you can get obviously grants for college. I was getting that because I was repeating a year. They don't pay for like a repeated year. So I had to sort all that out. Did it for a second time, and I feel like the second time kind of made me realize I didn't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like I just kind of knew it in myself. So at the end of like first year part 2, I kind of went about like, how do I change my course, because I always knew I kind of like wanted to work with special needs children. Like they were kind of like my second option, and they told me how to change my course. Went down that route of changing from law to special needs assistant in the same college, because I still wanted to be down there. And pretty much that kind of fucked up, because there was a lack of communication between the college. Like they kind of forgot to give me vital information to do, so I couldn't do it. And here's the thing, they reassured me that I could do the course. So I knew that I had to take out another loan because the grant doesn't pay you for the first year after you change your course. Like, you can apply for it in second year, but not in first year. And I was kind of just hopeless because it's not like I could go back to law, because surprisingly, like, I failed again. And like at that point, I wasn't obviously as upset as I was like the first time, because I was like, okay, like obviously law is clearly not for me, because if it was for me, then I'd be able to click in my brain. But because I had already signed the contract in my house, I kind of had to live down there, because if I broke my contract with the house, I would still say like focus. If I broke my contract with the house, I would still have to pay the rent up until like the end of May. So I was like, I may as well like live down here. Like, I'll take the 3 grand that I took out for paying the fee, because I was obviously told I could do the course, to like obviously pay like for the rent and other expenses, like it will go to use. And then eventually I did get my qualifications in SNA. I did a kind of like part-time course like back here at home, so I kind of had to travel back and forth, which was really stressful, or whatever. But yeah, it's now July, and I want to say that I'm happier. I mean, I'm definitely happier than what I was. But I've had a couple of kind of outbursts lately, and it makes me sad that I feel like I'm going back into that place that took me for ages to get out of. Because it is a lonely place, and like I'm trying not to cry, but it is. I feel like it is a lonely place, and I feel like being in like your 20s is such a weird time in your life, because like I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. Like am I supposed to like get married? I'm so tired. Am I supposed to be getting married, or like have a child? Like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? Like, no one's telling me. Like, so I actually have no idea, and I've never felt so lost in my life, and I feel like that's probably the biggest like thing that's going on, is that I actually have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, because I feel like once you turn 18, no one kind of tells you anymore, because you're obviously an adult. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of struggling to like, I guess, find myself again, and like I kind of just don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing like with my life. Like, I have no idea, like, at all, like what I'm supposed to be doing. Um like it's just so kind of, it's kind of just a weird time in my life, because like I see like all these like um other people that's like my age, like going off and doing really fun things, and like I know I can go off and do fun things, like I'm obviously not saying that I can't, but I feel like it's kind of difficult, especially because obviously we all know that I'm no longer in my college house, and either are my two girls, we're all back home, we're all in like different like ends of the country, and everybody's working and is trying to find like when like everybody's free, because two people might be free like this weekend, but this person's not free, and then this person's free next weekend, but the other two's not free next weekend. So it's kind of really hard when we're like hours kind of away from each other, trying to like um find like at like a weekend that suits, and then also on top of that finding a place to go to that's kind of in the middle for like traveling distance wise for like everybody. So one person's not traveling more than like the other two. So yeah, I feel like it's just a weird time in my life. But yeah, it's okay. I feel like to feel like this. Like if even if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you don't know what you're doing with your life, it's okay because I have no fucking idea like what I'm doing. Like, so I feel like it is okay. And I probably should go back to therapy, but like I feel like because of my traumatizing experience with CAMS, I'm kind of a bit afraid to go back. Kind of scares me, but maybe eventually I will. Maybe I'll work on that. Um, I feel like that could be like a good goal between now and the end of the year. At least try to go to one therapy session. I mean, you don't have to do like two, but like maybe try to go to one. I feel like that's a good sort of thing to set for myself. But yeah, just know that you're not alone with your feelings. You can talk about it like it's perfectly normal, and I feel like we should definitely normalize speaking about our mental health because like people are always like the first when someone unfortunately takes their own life going like, why didn't they talk to me? But I feel like they're the same type of people that if you talk to them they just do not want to listen about it. So I definitely think we should normalize mental health, and I just want to know that, well, I just want people to know that they're not alone and it's perfectly okay. So yeah, I feel like this is more of a serious kind of video. There was obviously a lot of stuff that I left out for like kind of to protect the identity of like obviously other people like in my life, like family and all that. Um but yeah, hopefully this is just kind of like a phase and I'll be fine in like a month. Um or whatever. But yeah, like I said, you're not alone and it is perfectly okay to not be okay, and it's absolutely okay to ask for help. And yeah, so I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Hopefully it'd be a lot more like less serious, I guess. And yeah, I will see you all then.